From the Coast Guard there. Now, it is a year since Francois Hollande's election to the French presidency. Mr. Hollande campaigned with promises of spurring economic growth and job creation, but the economy is now on the edge of recession and unemployment is at a 16-year high. Mr. Hollande's approval rating has fallen faster and further than any other president in the last half-century. Our correspondent Maddy Savage reports from Paris.
A year ago, many people here in the French capital were putting the champagne on ice ahead of the election of the country's first socialist president in 17 years. Now, though, strong coffee is the order of the day, just 12 months on for both his supporters and his critics. France is on the brink of a recession and there is record unemployment. Now, Adrien Schneerves, thanks very much for joining us. You're from the Socialist youth movement here in France. It has been a challenging year for Francois Hollande. How do you view the year ahead?
Yes, it was a challenging year for Francois Hollande. There is a crippling depression all over Europe, and we've tried to fight it with new tools, with a stimulus pack, and I think the rest of the year is going to be a fight against unemployment. As you said, it is a record unemployment.
Adrien Dural, as a critic of Francois Hollande, you describe yourself as a centre-right voter. Do you think it's going to be a good year ahead for France?
I don't think so, because you were speaking about champagne. I think nowadays it's the hangover for France. The political line isn't clear right now, and we don't see where we are going. That's a big problem. That
word ambiguity is one that's been used a lot in the French media recently. Francois Hollande came in on an anti-austerity campaign. He's now promising 60 billion euros worth of cuts. He's also saying that he's going to withdraw some financing for companies that were part funded by the state. A lot of people talking about U-turns.
Yeah, a lot of people also talked about a dogmatic socialist power that was going to be acted in France, and it is not the case. We have promised during the campaign that we would fight the debt in France, and we're doing it. But in the same time, we said we need a stimulus pack in France and on the European scale, and we've done it.
How confident are you that he can turn things around?
I'm confident, but I think there is a greater challenge. I think on a national scale, we've put some reforms and tools, and we've stopped something that was crippling our country, the destruction of public services that was going on during the years of President Sarkozy. But what is now the new fight is on a European scale. We need the conservatives in Europe to change their policies because they are killing the growth all over Europe, not only in France.
Adrien?
I could not agree with my opponent, because I think in time of chaos we have to have a straight line in Europe, and what is doing the Party Socialist right now is facing the Germany policy, which is, if we watch closely, what is working in Europe. So maybe we have to follow them in their direction, I think.
Well, thanks very much for both of your views. And speaking of Europe, there'll be another pivotal point for Francois Hollande in another year from now. That's when European elections are taking place. There are also local elections here in France, a key time for voters here in France to vocalise their thoughts on socialist politics.
Maddy Savage reporting from Paris.